All right, welcome back to the Central Valley Buzz, everyone. I'm your host, Chuck Leonard. My next guest, attorney Rosie Nunez. All right, how's it going?
Good.
How are you?
Good, good. I'm happy to be here.
We're happy to have you. You're having fun in the studio
I
audience
am
today?
having so much fun.
Well, before we get started, let's do this. It's almost lunchtime. Is there anybody hungry out there?
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, here's what you do. Go to centralvalleytalk.com. Go to the Enter to Win box, and in the subject line, put in barbecue, and I'll give you a free lunch from Watts Family Barbecue. Your choice of a chicken sandwich or a rib sandwich and fries on us. Go now. I'll announce the winner in the next segment. Rosie, how's it going?
Good.
Now, what kind of attorney are you?
I practice bankruptcy and disability law.
Okay, and disability law, what do you mean, like people that deserve to get their disability but they haven't gotten it yet?
Exactly. So people apply for Social Security disability benefits because they're too sick to work, or they're injured for some reason and they're not able to get back to work. So they apply.
What about if you're just tired of working?
Well, that's everybody. That's every morning. No, but sometimes things happen and you're too sick to work for whatever reason. And so you apply for benefits, and unfortunately Social Security likes to deny people, and so that's where I step in.
Why do they turn down people?
Well, because
don't people have it coming?
if they grant it, they have to start paying money, and no one likes to do that, and we all know the government doesn't like to do that. So, so that's what happens. A lot of people get denied, and so then that's where I step in and help them get their benefits, so that they can try to get better and not have to worry about paying the rent and that kind of thing. They get a little money coming in. And
they get a little chunk too a lot of times, right?
A lot of times if they've worked for the last 20 years, they've got enough work credits, then they are entitled to a little bit more money. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Okay. So do you actually have to go to court? Is there a social security court where you go in and you say, no, they deserve it? They say, no, they don't.
It's an administrative hearing that we go to. So there is an administrative judge, but it's not like, where there's a jury or anything like that. And that's kind of the last resort. That's when they've just been denied, and gone through the whole appeal process. And then when the Social Security Administration just is denying it, then we ask for a hearing before a judge and present the case to the judge, and that's where we win.
Is there what type of percentages are we looking for? Are people getting it?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, we have to kind of look at the case and see what kind of case they have, and you've got to tell people. You've got to start going to the doctor, or you really need to try to get better, because you can't just be sick, not get better, and not want to work. You have to try to get better, and so there are things we can do to try to help people get to that, to win, get their benefits.
All right. And then bankruptcy. Now, bankruptcy is kind of that black magic word. No one wants to talk about the bankruptcy, but in some cases, it's a really good thing for someone to do, right?
It really is. And, no one shouts it off from the rooftop, hey, I'm filing bankruptcy today, but sometimes it is just so relieving. It just lifts so much off your shoulders. It takes that stress off. Couples are fighting over money. So there's so many bad things that happen from debt that come from that stress. And sometimes bankruptcy is just the right thing to do. It's sometimes your last resort. A lot of clients come in and tell me this is the last thing I wanted to do. But it turns out to be sometimes the best thing, because you're able to just start over, get rid of your debt, save your house.
Right.
So many benefits from bankruptcy.
And bankruptcy isn't necessarily going to ruin you, like credit-wise or anything. It's almost like you're getting a second chance.
Exactly. That's the thing, is that you get to start over. It's not this thing where you file bankruptcy and then you're never able to buy a house or buy a car or get another credit card. Those things are going to happen within time. And after your bankruptcy, it's just like when you're 18 years old and you get that first credit card and then the interest rate is really high, or you get a car that's financed, the interest rate is really high. That's kind of what you're facing after bankruptcy.
Rebuilding time.
Rebuilding. So you've got to prove yourself again to creditors, but it's there. It's always there.
Now, what are some of the reasons that people will do bankruptcy?
Well, the number one reason people file for bankruptcy is medical bills. So there's a lot of uninsured people. and you get an emergency appendicitis or whatever the thing is, you get into a car accident, you have to go to the hospital, you have no insurance, or sometimes you do have insurance, but it only covers 80%, and we all know that hospital bills are $100,000.
Right.
So who's got 20% of that? And so that's the number one reason people file, is because they've got lots of medical bills. But you can also...
Do they go away?
Well, when you file bankruptcy, they do.
You never have to repay them.
You never have to repay them. That's the wonderful thing about it, is people think, well, what if I get a really good job later, or I'm finishing up medical school and I'm gonna become a doctor and make a lot of money, or win the lottery. Those kind of things. It doesn't matter, and these things are gone forever. So it's really great.
And what are some of the things that you can't claim bankruptcy on?
Well, the number one thing that people come to me about, and I have to tell them, no, we can't do anything about that, is child support. Yeah, I can never get rid of child support in a bankruptcy. Student loans are really, really tough to get rid of. Taxes, although there is an exception to taxes, sometimes you can get rid of taxes in a bankruptcy.
What's the exception?
You have to have filed them within a certain amount of time, and they have to be a certain, in the past, 3 years and back, and you have to file them on time and that kind of thing. So there's different rules to it. But
all right. So if people were looking to get a hold of Rosie Nunez, how do they do that?
They can call my office at 559-221-2677.
Okay. And what do you like to do when you're not being a lawyer?
I like to veg and watch TV. No, I have dogs. I like to go out and play with them and just that kind of thing. Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. Rosie Nunez, disability and bankruptcy attorney.